Rink-wide Vancouver, pregame, postgame, every game presented by Bodog. From sports odds to free casino games, make a play at bodog.net. Wadden and JPat here with you with another edition of the pregame show as the Canucks get set to face off against the Winnipeg Jets, an all-Canadian affair, and JPat, the Canucks for the first time this year could be over NHL 500 with a win.
Yeah, they had that chance last week against Minnesota, and they did not take advantage of it, but they went to Calgary, they got the shootout victory, and so here they are, 13-13-3. Both of these teams reaching the 30-game mark tonight. Winnipeg's looking for its 20th win of the season. The Vancouver Canucks, as we said, trying to claw their way above 500 for the first time, so you sort of see the gap in the level of competition here between these teams. This is going to be a good test for the Vancouver Canucks tonight.
Let's get to the lineup change presented by Delaney's OK Tire out in Fraser Highway in Langley. Looks like perhaps there's going to be a few changes tonight, JPat.
Yeah. Now, as we record this, still some question about Elias Pettersson and his status. Didn't practice at UBC on Friday. Didn't take part in this morning's morning skate. Bruce Boudreau saying he's a game time decision, but you just wonder, with no practice yesterday, and not on the ice this morning, if he could go, I'm sure Elias Pettersson would want him getting there and help the hockey club. If he can't play, what a massive loss. He's been their best and most consistent forward all season long. 13 goals, 34 points. He leads this hockey club. Oh yeah, there's a question about Brock Besser, who was a late scratch on Wednesday in Calgary. He didn't practice yesterday. He was on the ice at morning skate, but we're still not sure about his status either. But it does look, through all of this, like Lane Peterson is going to make his Vancouver Canucks debut, not his NHL debut. He's played for San Jose and Arizona before. This was a guy that was really a throw-in in the Ethan Bear trade from Carolina earlier this year, but he's gone to Abbotsford and absolutely set the American Hockey League on fire. 17 goals in 18 games for the baby Canucks. 17 goals, just 7 assists. So not a lot of playmaking with Lane Peterson. But it's good to know that the organization taking note of what's going on. They had to put in the call. Travis Dermott, a defenseman, was the extra forward at practice on Friday. So at the very least, they wanted to make sure that they had enough bodies here in case illness kept guys like Pettersson and Besser out of the lineup. So great opportunity for Lane Peterson. It does look like he's going to suit up and play his first NHL game this season in a Canuck uniform.
Canucks were able to eke out that win over the Flames. However, they got off to a really good start in that game. Want to replicate that tonight.
Yeah, and Bo Horvat obviously has been their goal-scoring leader, got his 21st the other night, a minute and a half in, and then they followed that up with another goal 34 seconds later, so they got the jump on the Calgary Flames. They'd love to do that again against a Winnipeg team that certainly boasts a ton of firepower. They can strike right back, so if the Canucks can get the lead, maybe dictate a little bit about the way the game is going to be played. Again, without Elias Pettersson, the line combinations go into flux. You had JT Miller skating between Andrei Kuzmenko and Ilya Mikheyev, not a spot that we've seen Miller all season. Of course, JT Miller says he wants to be a center. Started the season that way. Didn't go so well for him. They had to move him to the wing. But if Miller does move to the middle, it looks like Bo Horvat, the goal-scoring leader, he's going to have Nils Höglander on one side and Curtis Lazar, who skated there the other night in Calgary. So, some different looks for the Vancouver Canucks. So we'll see what chemistry does and if it impacts this team at all. Again, a good opponent and the Winnipeg Jets coming in. Canucks are going to have to be at their best, but can they be at their best if they're without their best offensive player?
Yeah, good question there. The defense, though, are going to have to step up as well because the Winnipeg Jets can beat you in a number of ways.
They can. They've got skill, they've got speed, they've got size. Again, this is a team that's 19-9-1 in the season. They, as it stands right now, second in the Central, third in the Western Conference. So that just kind of frames the type of year that the Jets have had. And people know the names. Scheifele and Wheeler, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Kyle Connor got off to a slow start, but he's starting to feel it. He's an elite goal scorer when he's on his game. And Josh Morrissey. How about this? If Elias Pettersson doesn't play tonight, Josh Morrissey, the Jets defenseman, will be the highest scoring player on either side in this hockey game.
The Canucks aren't very good on home ice, though, JPat, and going to have to right that ship tonight.
Yeah, how many times have we said this, though? And last Saturday against Minnesota was a perfect example. They came off a good win in San Jose. They had a couple of wins, in fact, 3 straight at that point. And they were easily the second best team on the ice against the Minnesota Wild. Got shut out 3-0, got booed off the ice. So the Canucks don't want any part of that. History repeating itself. This is the final Saturday home game before Christmas. You'd like to think that it's going to be a festive atmosphere with the two Canadian teams, as you mentioned right off the top. And it's on the Canucks. We can talk about them needing to be better. Ultimately, they're the ones that have to go out there and make it happen. But as we sit here, Again, 30 games into the season, the Vancouver Canucks have 5 home ice wins, and only 3 of those have come in regulation time.
All right. You mentioned some of the Jets there. Let's focus in on them for just a moment. They're second in the Central, third in the West, and shooting for a 20th win already.
Yeah, and they're coming in here off an overtime victory over Nashville the other night. Kyle Connor, he pulled the trigger in OT. How about this? The Jets have the most overtime wins in the National Hockey League with 7. They're 7-1 in games decided 3-on-3. Now, the Canucks have been to overtime a fair bit here lately, so maybe you think this game will go beyond regulation. If it does, though, the Canucks have to be wary because the Jets know how to finish these games when it gets down to OT. And so, yeah, led by Mark Scheifele's got 18 goals. We talk about Kyle Connor now on a 7-game point streak. Pierre-Luc Dubois is a point-a-game guy. Oh, yeah, the old man in all of this, Blake Wheeler, he's having a nice offensive season. And, of course, for years, it was always Scheifele and Wheeler. And then there was a question about the supporting cast, but they have built up the supporting cast. And it's important to remember, too, they're doing all of this without Nikolai Ehlers, who is back on skates. Still a couple of weeks away, but there's another game breaker, one of the fastest guys in the National Hockey League that the Jets are going to get to plug right back into their lineup. So I don't want to say they haven't missed him, but they've done a nice job of getting by and racking up points without Ehlers. He'll be a welcome addition, though, when he's cleared and ready to get back in the lineup.
You mentioned all those names, a lot of firepower. You missed one name, though, and that's in goal. Connor Hellebuyck has been a Canuck killer over the years.
Yeah, and we're at a point in time in the NHL where we're seeing a lot of tandems and workload split, and obviously Spencer Martin and Thatcher Demko. Some of that was inconsistency on Demko's part. Some of it lately has been the injury. There is no tandem. There is no job share in Winnipeg. Connor Hellebuyck is among the league leaders in games started, in minutes played, has faced more shots than any goaltender in the National Hockey League this season. So he's been busy, but guess what? He's been really good too. And over the years against the Vancouver Canucks, Canuck fans, you may want to plug your ears on this one because Connor Hellebuyck has been lights out good in his career. 11-4 wins and losses, 1.74 goals against average, a .941 save percentage, and in those 15 games, 4 of them have ended in shutouts. So Connor Hellebuyck seems to like it when he looks across and he sees Vancouver Canuck uniforms, and we're expecting that it'll be Hellebuyck in goal because the Jets are in Seattle tomorrow, so they're back-to-back. I would expect that you see Hellebuyck on a Hockey Night in Canada Saturday night, and Dave Rittich will get the call against the Kraken at Climate Pledge on Sunday.
Might want to rethink my Bodog Best Bet after those stats that you just rattled off there for Connor Hellebuyck. However, I'm going to stick with this one. I feel good about this one tonight. I got Connor Garland over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 134. JPat, he's had 13 shots in goal in the last 3 games, and he's been elevated in the lineup. He's got 2 goals in his last 4. Feeling really good about this one. Boy, do I need a win right now.
Yeah, and an interesting piece. Ian McIntyre had a talk to Connor Garland after practice yesterday, and Garland wouldn't cop to exactly what it was, but said that it's an easier game to play when you're healthy, and alluded to the fact that he just couldn't get a lot on his shot earlier. Now, he was a healthy scratch once, but hasn't missed any time due to whatever it was that was ailing him. But these guys, they're tough. They all play through things at various times through the season. But I just thought that was an interesting admission that maybe there was more to the slow start when it came to his goal production. So battling through something, but he said he's healthy, and the numbers would bear that out. And so we'll see. I think the Canucks are going to have to put a lot of pucks on net tonight to find ones that get past Connor Hellebuyck. So we'll see if Connor Garland can add to that shot total. And let's be honest here, Andrew, 'tis the season. You need a win in a bad way.
I need a win badly. People are fading me left, right, everywhere right now, and they should be. But listen, I'll get back on the horse. I guarantee it. You can get yourself some Bodog Bucks tonight. We got 50 more to give away. Here's what you got to do. Head over to Rinkwide, at Rinkwide Podcast on Twitter, that is, and reply below with the period and the time of the game-winning goal. You can also do this in the comment section right here on YouTube. The winner is going to take $50 in Bodog Bucks home, and we had a winner on Wednesday, JPat. Hopefully we'll get a winner again on Saturday. Remember too, though, folks, game-winning goals can be scored in the first period. That's just a reminder because we did have that recently. All right, who tonight, though, is going to do something in this game?
Well, they're hoping, the Canucks are, that this guy's going to do something without Elias Pettersson. And again, we don't know. Warm-up, we'll have to wait until, just before puck drop to find out for sure. But if Elias Pettersson can't go, this just feels like it has to be one of those nights where JT Miller steps up and shows why the Vancouver Canucks committed to him. I know that he's, he's not making the big dough yet. That deal doesn't kick in until next year, but he's still making enough dough.
Yeah.
He's a central piece on this hockey club. 99 points last year, but his production has kind of slowly faded here and not getting a lot of talk. But JT Miller's gone 8 without a goal, 1 in his last 11. That was in Vegas. It was on a Saturday night a few weeks back. And just 2 assists, 2 points in his last 5 hockey games. So if you take Elias Pettersson out of the mix, there goes your leading scorer. Bo Horvat would become the second leading scorer, but JT Miller knows that he's an important guy. If he plays in between Kuzmenko and Mikheyev, he's going to be surrounded by guys that can think and play offensively as well. But cut down on the mistakes, none of the high-risk plays.
Yeah.
Just do something to help this hockey club. The Jets are deep. The Jets are skilled. And I think the Vancouver Canucks' best players, with or without Elias Pettersson, they're going to have to rise to the challenge. So, yeah, JT Miller, this one's on you. You got to do something here to help the Canucks beat the Jets tonight.
And a reminder that we do have our Wired Snowboards contest still going. They're into the final days. Here is today's code word. Send that into the Great Clips inbox at 778-402-9680. That'll get you into a draw to win a 2023 Wired Recon Series snowboard. And like I said, down to the last few days. So get those hashtags in, get those code words in, and check them out, wiredsnowboards.com. All right, should be a good one tonight. Like I mentioned, all Canadian affair, always a fun time at Rogers Arena. Let's see if the Canucks can get themselves a W against a red-hot Winnipeg Jets. This has been another edition of the Rink-Wide Vancouver podcast, presented by Bodog. For Jeff Patterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink-Wide is the show that always scores.